Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Uh, Yesterday we have seen organochlorine, not organochlorine, organophosphates remaining after the phosphate group, then carbamate and synthetic pyrethroid as well as the mode of action of organophosphates and carbamates. Okay. Uh, Hope this is clear to you. Uh, I'm still repeating. If you find it any difficult at any point of time, you can easily clarify it then and there itself or after the class. I think you all have my mobile number. You can WhatsApp it. I will reply it. Okay, one of your friends has done it, so that's why I will reply it. Okay. Today I will be slightly deviating from the topic because in the last two classes we have seen organochlorine, organophosphates, carbamates, and synthetic pyrethroid pesticides. We call it as old generation pesticide because, as you all know, organochlorine was discovered in the late 40s and the 40s, OP in the 40s itself, carbamates 40s and 50s, synthetic pyrethroids. Though it synthesized in 60s and all, it was widely popularized during 70s. So many molecules was discovered that photo stable pyrethroids were all synthesized in 70s and 80s. So all of them are about 50 years back. So all of them continued for the pest management scenario for about 30, 40 years. And by the end of 1990, that means with the beginning of new millennium, newer molecules started coming to the market. So all those which are belong into organochlorine, organophosphates, carbamates, and synthetic pyrethroids, all of them are called as uh, old generation, and other groups are called as new generation. Actually, I should have gone to new generation pesticides directly today, but before that, I wish to complete one portion which is in the syllabus itself, that is pesticide formulation. Because if I start going into new generation pesticide, I'll tell more about formulations, their abbreviations, etc. So that might be a bit confusing to you. So before new generation pesticides, I will complete pesticide formulation. Um, Remember, uh, many people consider chemical control as a tough portion, uh, and usually one essay is from chemical control. One essay is usually asked from chemical control. Chemical control as yesterday Hari Krishnan just after the class, Hari Krishnan asked me how many classes do you need, sir? I just checked and at the minimum of 7 classes is needed to complete the portions. So that means I may take about total of 12 classes, if not less. Minimum of 12 classes is needed to complete the portion. So it means one third of the classes will be from chemical control. So that is the weightage chemical control has. So that you should keep in mind. Uh, I was correcting a final exam paper 2 weeks back, and in that question paper, the essay, both the essay questions were from chemical control, and one essay was from this today's topic, pesticide formulation. What is a pesticide formulation, and what are the different types of pesticide formulation? So remember all those things. This is a typical. This is an interesting thing. I will ask you one question, general question. What is a formulation? Remove pesticide from it. What is a formulation? Literal meaning. ഒരു ഫോർമുലേഷൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ നിങ്ങൾ എന്താണ് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയിട്ടുള്ളത്? വാട്ട് ഈസ് എ ഫോർമുലേഷൻ? എനിവൺ? No? Yes, exactly. You told it correctly. Market available form. How a product is available in the market. That is the exact definition of a pesticide formulation. So I will tell you a few examples so that you can easily understand. In how many forms you have seen a formula, seen a paracetamol. Paracetamol is a very common drug which we consume for our fever or any body ache or any other thing. So in how many formulations or how many forms in which paracetamol is available in the market? I think all of you can answer that. Three, whatever be the number, can you name a few? The most common one is tablet, syrup, yes. Tablet, syrup, then injection, yes. So you told at least three. I think there are more than three. Suppositors and all are the a kind of formulation is suppositor. So that is different formulations of paracetamol. The chemical is same, paracetamol, but it is formulated in different manner for different purposes. For tablets, there is one kind, that is one kind of formulation. Syrup, for especially for pediatric purpose, it is another kind of formulation. And as you told, injection, that is a specific purpose. A tablet cannot be powdered and injected into the vein. No. So we need a specific formulation for meeting a specific purpose. It has to be injected into the vein, directly into the blood. So it has a specific purpose. And we can't provide a tablet to a kid. If you try providing a tablet to a kid, it is extremely difficult task. So what we will do, we will add some flavoring agent to it so that the kids find it pretty attractive to take on. Otherwise, we find it difficult to provide medicines to kids. So you might have seen it in different flavors, strawberry flavored, mint flavored, several flavors are there. That is a kind of formulation so that the use becomes pretty easy. So that is nothing but formulation. A kind of cooking kind of thing. That means to make it suitable for the purpose intended. We will add few things mixed together along with the key ingredient. Key ingredient is the drug, that is paracetamol. We will add several things and make it a particular formulation. Coming to pesticide, another typical example that I can give you is, we were discussing a lot about mosquito repellents. What are the different formulations of mosquito repellents you have seen? What are the different kind of mosquito formulations you have seen in the market? Quick. That's a pretty straightforward thing. Sprays are there. Only spray. നിങ്ങളുടെ വീട്ടിൽ കൊതുകിനെ നശിപ്പിക്കാനായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന എന്തൊക്കെ ടൈപ്പ് ഫോമുലേഷൻ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ ഒരു വേറൊരു രീതി, ഗുഡ് നൈറ്റ് നമ്മൾ കൊതുകിനെ കൊല്ലാനായിട്ട് ഈ ഗുഡ് നൈറ്റ് എന്തൊക്കെ രീതിയിൽ അവൈലബിൾ ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്? ഓയിൽ ഉണ്ടോളൂ? എനിക്കറിയില്ല. കൊതുക് തിരി, കോയില്, പെല്ലറ്റ്. യെസ്, that means coils, pellets, not actually pellet. Pellet എന്നാണോ അതിനെ പറയുന്നത്? പരന്നിരിക്കുന്നത് നമ്മൾ പണ്ട് വെച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരുന്ന സാധനം. ലിക്വിഡ് വേപ്പറൈസേഴ്സ് അല്ലേ? യെസ്, ക്രീംസ് are there. Yes, creams are the oils. I don't think it is having the coils are the ആമത്തിരി എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നത്. Then we have mat. അതാണ് ഞാൻ പറയാനുള്ളത്. Mat, mosquito repellent, പരന്നിരിക്കുന്ന mat ഉണ്ട്. And nowadays we have liquid vaporizers. Yesterday when I was at home, my wife brought a new kind of formulation yesterday. That is again from Goodnight, that brand itself. It looks like a paper, and just burn that paper in the room. It again contains a synthetic pyrethrotrans. So all this contains pesticide, mostly the same pesticide, but intended for the same purpose, that is mosquito control, but for different, in a formulated in different manner. It can be in coil, it can be in the mat form, it can be in liquid form, which can be fit into vaporizers, or just like you people are told, or creams or paper strips which can be burnt. So, and some people are told about sprays. Hit hit sprays on. So all these are different formulations of a single pesticide, different forms in which pesticides are available in the market. So this is nothing but formulation. So I will share it. I think you got an understanding of what is a pesticide formulation, and now we will see one by what is the definition of pesticide formulation. I'm happy that your friend has told exactly what is a pesticide formulation. In simple sentence, I think the slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The definition is pesticide product offered for sale. That means the form in which the pesticide is offered for sale. We discussed about the example of mosquito repellents. So coils, Amadiri, that is one form. Liquid vaporizer, another form. Sprays, another form. Creams, another form. So all these are formulation. So the pesticide product, the form in which the pesticide is offered for sale, that is pesticide formulation. And what does a pesticide formulation contains? A pesticide formulation should invariably have an active ingredient. That means the pesticide molecule. Active ingredient means the pesticide molecules. We discussed about paracetamol. Whatever way the paracetamol is formulated, it should have paracetamol. That is the active ingredient. So whatever be a pesticide is formulated, it should have the active ingredient or the pesticide. And along with the active ingredient, we will have adjuvants and other formulants combined to render the product useful and effective for the purpose claimed. We will discuss about adjuvants and formulants in the next section. That means along with this active ingredient, we will add a few more things so that the pesticide is more effective and useful for pest management purpose. So we will be adding few other things. It can be an adjuvant or formulant. Adjuvant is nothing but a formulant. We'll discuss about it just now. And the other things are added to make the pesticide molecule more effective and useful for pest management. So that is thing. It should invariably have an active ingredient. It will have adjuvants and formulants. The purpose of adjuvants and formulants is to make the pesticide molecule more effective and useful for pest management. And whether we use paracetamol in pure form, നമ്മൾ എപ്പോഴെങ്കിലും പാരസെറ്റമോൾ പ്യുവർ ഫോമിൽ ഉപയോഗിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? Pure 100% pure paracetamol, does we have you seen it? No, because it is extremely difficult to handle it. In the same way, pesticide is also not used in pure form. It is not at all used it is usually mixed with other formulants and marketed. Only few things are exceptions, certain fumigants, certain gases and all. These are the exceptions. Otherwise, none of them are used in pure form. And in the pesticide formulation definition, we have come across two terms, new terms, formulants and adjuvants. We will see what is a formulant and what is an adjuvant. Formulant is any substance added to the pesticide formulation other than the active ingredient. That means we added a pesticide formulation invariably should have an active ingredient. That means a pesticide molecule. So what are all the other things which are added to the pesticide formulation other than the active ingredient or pesticide formula, uh, other than the active ingredient or the pesticide molecule is called as a formulant. Any other thing added to the pesticide formulation other than the active ingredient, that is a formulant. So we'll take a common example. If you're preparing a dish for a chicken curry, so what is the active ingredient in that chicken curry? Chicken curry invariably should have chicken. Yes. So that is the active ingredient. So what can be the formulants? What are all the other things you will add to a chicken curry? Masala, salt, whatever the other things which you add to a chicken curry other than the active ingredient, that means the chicken, all those things can be considered as formulant. So in the same manner, in a pesticide formulation, any other thing other than the active ingredient which is added to that formulation is called as a formulant. And this include carriers, other substances and other substances which enhance the biological activity or physicochemical properties of the formulation. Say you are preparing a chicken curry and you want to have a bit more quantity of gravy. കുറച്ചധികം ചാറ് വേണമെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുക. And you will add a bit more quantity of water into it. Consider it as a carrier. That means this is simply added. It doesn't impart any other thing, other flavor, or it doesn't enhance the flavor, taste, or any other properties, odor, or any other properties. This is just to enhance the volume of the curry you prepare. So we can call it as a carrier. We use carriers in several other. We will discuss it later. Have you have studied fertilizers, isn't it, in the first semester itself? Yes or no? In agronomy, fertilizers, urea, muriate of potash. Yes. So what is the concentration of nitrogen in urea? 46%. Good. So that means if you take 100 gram, we have only 46 gram nitrogen, and rest 54 part is some other carrier, some other filler. This is just to keep the nitrogen concentration exactly at 46%. So we may add 46, add a carrier into a pesticide formulation. This doesn't enhance the physicochemical properties, but there are certain formulants which can enhance the activity or physicochemical properties of the formulants. Anything other than active ingredient in a pesticide formulation is a formulant, but formulant can be an inert material which doesn't add anything to the pesticide, which doesn't improve any quality of the pesticide. But there are certain formulants which has the ability to enhance the biological activity, increase the efficacy and physicochemical property of the formulation. Those kind of formulants which enhances the activity and physicochemical property of a pesticide formulation is called as adjuvant. Take the case of chicken curry itself. What somebody told masala, whether masala is masala can be considered as an adjuvant because it enhances the physicochemical property of the dish you prepared. So that is one thing. But this same masala can be considered as a formulant because this is added, another thing added to your dish just other than the main thing that is the actin other than the chicken. So it is a formalin. As this formalin, that is the masala, enhances the physical chemical properties of the dish, it is called as an adjuvant. What is the role of an adjuvant in a pesticide formulation? Take the case of a plant leaf. In the plant leaf, the upper surface is coated with is having a waxy layer. So if you go for spraying a water containing any pesticide, the water droplets may not stick onto the waxy coating on the leaf. So we may need an adjuvant to improve the spreading of the spray on the leaf surface. The leaf surface is having a waxy coating. So if it is because of the waxy coating, the pesticide spray may not evenly spread over the leaf surface. So we have to add an adjuvant to increase the spreading of the spray fluid on the leaf surface. So this is adjuvants. Adjuvants we will see later. So are you clear with adjuvants and formulants? Yes. Okay. And why we need to formulate? What is the reason for preparing a pesticide form? Why can't we use the active ingredient, the pesticide molecule as such? Because these active ingredients are extremely toxic in nature. Most of the time it is very toxic in nature. So that means it is hazardous to handle the pesticide molecule as such. And most of the time, this pesticide molecule will be insoluble in water. The most common solvent available in Earth's surface is water. So we usually prepare whatever be the solution we need, we prepare it in water and spray. But most of the, almost 90% of the pesticide molecules are insoluble in water. So that means we can't dissolve in water and spray. Another thing is that most of the pesticide molecules are unstable in the environment. We have to make it stable in the environment. So that means we can add an adjuvant which can improve the stability of the pesticide molecule. And another major reason why we formulate is the active ingredients as such, the pesticide molecule as such is extremely difficult to handle, transport and store. See, in pesticide residue lab in which I am now posted upon, this we have pure active ingredient molecule for our research purpose. But these active ingredient molecules has to be invariably stored at minus 20 degrees Celsius, just like we handle our COVID vaccine. But take the case of a poor farmer, whether he can keep this pesticide active ingredient, the pure form in minus 20 degrees Celsius? No. So we will make that formulation which we prepare a pesticide formulation based on that active ingredient so that it is easy to handle, transport and store. So that's the reason why we formulate. Because active ingredients are extremely toxic in nature, it is insoluble in water, it is unstable in the environment, that means degrades quickly, and it is extremely difficult to handle, transport and store. So we formulate to improve handling, storage, application. Application means, say I told you about pesticides being insoluble in water. So if D doesn't formulate, in which solvent will be dissolve it and spray? Application requires the cheapest solvent available in the world. The cheapest solvent available in the world is water. So if the pesticide molecule is insoluble in water, application will become difficult. So we formulate in such a way that it can be some way mixed with water and applied onto the crop. Another thing is that it improves the effectiveness. I told you, leaf is having a waxy coating. To improve the effectiveness, we need to have a spreader to spread the pesticide spray evenly on the leaf surface. So we have an adjuvant to improve the effectiveness of the pesticide molecule. Another thing is to improve the safety. I told you, pure molecule is extremely toxic. So formulation improves the safety. Another thing is provide the requisite dose and cover. That I will take an example. See, certain synthetic pyrethroids we have discussed this yesterday. It is usually recommended at the rate of 0.001 percentage. 0.001 percentage. That means we have to mix, we need to add only 1 milligram of the pesticide, that is pure pesticide, in 100 ml of water. 1 milligram in 100 ml of water. Is it an easy task for a simple farmer to measure 1 milligram? A 1 milligram balance itself will cost 1 lakh. So, in order to take a requisite dose and cover it evenly, we need a pesticide formulation. And sometimes certain situations demand a particular kind of formulation that I will discuss in the subsequent slides. So, we are formulating a pesticide molecule to improve its handling, to improve its storage, to improve with the application. It will increase the effectiveness, it will improve the safety of the pesticide product, and it will help to provide requisite dose and cover. And certain particular situations demand particular kind of formulations that I will discuss later. Hence, a pesticide formulation helps us to achieve safe, economic, and efficient pest control. That is why we formulate. It will help us to achieve safe, economic, and efficient pest control. Okay. Coming to the type of formulations, basically certain textbooks, if you check, they will give another kind of formulation, so liquid, solid, and gaseous formulation. But the teacher who taught me pesticide formulation, Dr. Balraj Singh Parmar, he is a doyen, still alive, extremely active. As a doyen in this area, he was the joint director research in IRA, and he was the long-serving head of Division of Agriculture Chemicals. And he always say that he has a very good book on pesticide formulation. S.S. Tomer and Parmar, that is the authors. And he always argued that we have only two kinds of formulations: liquid formulation and solid formulation, no gaseous formulations. That means most of the pesticide molecules are either available as a liquid or available as a solid. Some persons argue that the HIT, that is you purchase from the market, ningala HIT ennu paranja formulation, is it available as liquid, solid, or gas? I will ask a question. HIT ennu paranja ningala spray, is it available? Which form it is available? Liquid, solid, or gas? Some persons say that that is a gaseous formulation. Yes, exactly. That is a liquid formulation. Because formulation, the definition say that it is the form in which it is available, not the way it is coming out of the can. അപ്പൊ എന്ത് രീതിയിലാണ് കിട്ടുന്നത്, അത് ലിക്വിഡ് ആയിട്ടാണ് കിട്ടുന്നത്, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അതിനെ ലിക്വിഡ് ഫോർമുലേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. But there are certain things which is available in gas nowadays. Carbon dioxide and nitrogen. നിങ്ങൾ ലേസിന്റെ ഒക്കെ പാക്ക് കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലേ? You might have seen the packs of Lay's, all those wafers and potato wafers. What is the bulk in that? If you purchase a 5 rupee or 10 rupee pack of Lay's, you will get hardly 10 or 20 pieces of chips. Rust, or what is the big volume it contains? Nitrogen gas. Yes, air. It's not air, it is usually nitrogen. To prevent, if it is there is oxygen, there will be rancidity. So the same manner we will go for packing certain food grains to prevent insect infestation. Because if you remove oxygen and fill it with nitrogen or carbon dioxide, insect won't be able to multiply. So here we can say that there is a gaseous pesticide. Gaseous formulation is there because we directly fill a gas. It is a compressed gas. It's not liquefied and passed into the vacuum. So we will study it about later in the economic entomology course. And these formulations, basically it is divided into liquid and solid formulations. These formulations always it is having some abbreviations to make the people understand that this pesticide is formulated in this manner. So internationally, the accepted abbreviations are there for each pesticide formulation. We can't have our own abbreviation. And that abbreviation will be having only 2 letters, not more than 2. So see your MC over here. See this MC over here. This is nothing but mosquito coil. നമ്മളുടെ ആമത്തിരി കൊതുകുതിരി എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞത്. This is RB bait, ready for use, ready to use bait. നിങ്ങൾ എലിക്ക് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കേക്ക് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഒരു ബിസ്ക്കറ്റ് പോലെ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഡയറി മിൽക്ക് ഒക്കെ ഒടിച്ചെടുക്കുന്ന പോലത്തെ ഒരു ബിസ്ക്കറ്റ് ചോക്ലേറ്റ് ഒക്കെ ഒടിച്ചെടുക്കുന്ന പോലെ ഒരു കട്ടയായിട്ടിരിക്കുന്ന. Have you ever seen a rodent poison? Yes. If you check it, there it will be written as bromadiolone RB, ready to use bait. അതൊരു കെണിയാണ്, എലീനെ ആകർഷിക്കാനുള്ള ഭക്ഷ്യവസ്തു അടങ്ങിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വിഷ പദാർത്ഥമാണത്. So that is, it is called as ready to use bait. So these are the several ways. I have taken only a few examples. ഇത് കാണാതെ പഠിക്കാനല്ല, കുറച്ച് എണ്ണം ഞാൻ എളുപ്പത്തിന് വേണ്ടി ഒരു ലിസ്റ്റ് ഔട്ട് ചെയ്തു എന്നുള്ളൂ. I think there are more than 50 or 60 kinds of formulations. And now we will see the formulation. Before going into formulation, few things are there. ഇത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയാവുന്ന കാര്യമാണ്, but still this is just as a reminder to you. What is the difference between a solution, suspension and an emulsion? What is the difference between, simple ചോദ്യം, what is the difference between, I will put it in another manner. If you add chalk powder to water, what it will form? Solution, suspension or emulsion? Chalk powder into water, solution, yes, it will form suspension because it does not dissolve in that. It forms suspension. It gets suspended in water. So if you add salt or sugar into water, what does it form? Solution. Yes, good. And if you add oil in water and mix it with some soap solution, what it will form? Just a minute. So if you add oil into water and add some drops of water and mix it thoroughly, what does it form? കുറച്ച് എണ്ണ വെള്ളത്തിലേക്ക് ചേർത്തു, അതിലേക്ക് കുറച്ച് സോപ്പും കൂടെയും ചേർത്ത് നന്നായിട്ട് അങ്ങ് മിക്സ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ what does it form? Emulsion. Yes, it forms an emulsion because oil is insoluble in water, that you all know. And once we add soap into it, A soap is called as a surfactant. It is called as a surfactant. It has both hydrophilic and hydrophobic ends. സോപ്പിന് ഒരു വശം ഹൈഡ്രോഫിലിക്കും ഒരു വശം ഹൈഡ്രോഫോബിക്കുമാണ്. So that the hydrophilic end will interact with water, hydrophobic end will interact with oil. So that will make the oil particles form an emulsion, form the liquid, the droplets of oil can disperse in the water. So that is called as an emulsion. Okay, so this is basic thing. Coming to the first kind of formulation, that is solid formulation. Among the solid formulation, the first formulation is dust formulation. As the name indicates, it is a powder, dust. The abbreviation is DP. DP means dusting powder. This formulation consists of active ingredient, that is the pesticide molecule, and into that we will add a carrier or diluent. That means any inert material added into the pesticide molecules. It doesn't improve any property of the pesticide molecule. So active ingredient will be added. We will add carrier or diluent, and we will add some adjuvants for special effects. That means to improve the physicochemical properties, to improve the sticking, addition, etc. of the pesticide molecule. So it consists of active ingredient, carrier or diluent, and we will add adjuvants to improve addition, sticking, etc. It is having slightly higher particle size, 30 to 50 micron, and the most common dust is, there are several dusts available. One example I have given is malathion 5% dusting powder. Malathion 5% dusting powder. So dusting powder contains active ingredient, carrier or diluent, and we will have adjuvants for special effects such as sticking, addition, etc. So ഈ ഡസ്റ്റിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും നല്ലൊരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിലൊക്കെ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ഉറുമ്പ് പൊടിയാണ്. ആൻഡ് ഡസ്റ്റ് നമ്മൾ ഉറുമ്പ് പൊടിയായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ വീട്ടിൽ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലേ? If you see, take a pack of ant dust which is available in the market, the formulation is nothing but dusting powder, DP. And coming to the advantages and disadvantages of dust formulation, it is pretty easy to make, because take the active ingredient, mix it with the carrier, usually talc or other inert materials are used, and if we need some adjuvants, add some adjuvants, it is ready. The formulation is ready. So it is easy to make, convenient formulation, and it is one of the earliest and most widely used. Not now, early in about 40-50 years back, it was the most common formulation available and the most widely used formulation. And again, I told you in the advantages of what is the reason for formulating a pesticide. One particular reason I told you was certain situation demand particular kind of formulation. In certain water scarce areas, we may need dust formulation, because we usually recommend about 200 liters of water for spraying 1 acre of area. You hear it correctly, we need about 200 liters of water to spray 1 acre of area. 200 ലിറ്റർ വെള്ളം വേണം ഒരു ഏക്കർ സ്പ്രേ ചെയ്യാൻ, നമ്മൾ നോർമലി പറയുന്നതാണ്. So finding 200 liters of water will be difficult in certain water scarce areas such as Rajasthan and all. So in those areas, these dust formulations are the most suited, because the water is not available. It is not at all meant for mixing with water, simply dusted into the crop. നമ്മൾ ഉറുമ്പ് പൊടി ഒന്നും വെള്ളത്തിൽ കലക്കി സ്പ്രേ ചെയ്യല്ല. It is simply dusted onto the areas where we notice ants. But the major disadvantage is that because it is a powder, there is a chance of drift and dust clouds. That means once we dust it, if there is wind, the smaller particles will get carried away by the wind, and it can reach other areas, where unintended areas. So drift is major problem. And another thing is uneven spreading. We can't target the spray because it is a powder. Once we dust it, once we apply it, there is a chance of falling it over in other areas, because powders, it is very difficult to apply it on a specific target area. So the uneven spreading is another difficult disadvantage of dust formulation. Only 10 to 40% of the pesticide may reach the target. So the advantage is it is one of the most easiest to prepare. It was one of the widely used pesticide, and it is specifically used in water scarce areas. But the major disadvantage is drift and uneven spreading. Coming to the next one, water dispersible powder. As the name indicates, it is dispersed in water and sprayed on the crop. It is an improvement over dust formulation. Dust formulation is not at all meant for mixing with water. So, in those areas where water is all available, we can go for water dispersible powder or wettable powder. The abbreviation is WP. Here, what it will do is the composition is almost the same. There will be an active ingredient, that is the pesticide molecule. There will be a carrier, but invariably there will be a surfactant and adjuvant. Surfactant is nothing but those molecules which reduce the surface, those chemicals which can reduce the surface tension. See, we are going for a spray on a leaf which is having a waxy coating. So a molecule should be there to reduce the surface tension to improve the uniform spreading of the spray. And then what we are doing is we take a pesticide in dry form, mix it with a carrier or diluent again in dry form, and we are mixing with the water. It will form a dispersion. One major problem with dispersion is that if you keep it as such, it starts settling. നമ്മൾ ചോക്ക് പൊടിയാണ് എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറഞ്ഞത്. ചോക്ക് പൊടി വെള്ളത്തിൽ കലക്കി, if you mix chalk powder with water, after a few minutes you can see the powder gets settled. So we will add a dispersing agent into it as an adjuvant, so that the pesticide molecule will get dispersed in the medium, dispersed in water. That means it doesn't get settled easily. It remains dispersed. So it is nothing but a dust formulation, but containing some adjuvants to improve the dispersion, so that it can be mixed with water, and to reduce the surface tension we add surfactant so that it can be evenly spreading on the surface of the leaf. So the definition of a WP formulation is it is a pesticide in dry form. That means it is a solid formulation containing a surfactant, because it is had to be sprayed. It is a pesticide in dry form with surfactant. That is the major difference between dust and wettable powder. Dust does not have a surfactant at all. Wettable powder, it is a pesticide in dry form with surfactant, often mixed with or coated on a fine solid carrier for dispersion in water to form a suspension. Say, what it is, does it means that if you have a liquid active ingredient, we will take a carrier material, fine powder of talc or something. We will spray that liquid active ingredient into that fine carrier powder, mix it, and add the surfactants and market it. But if you have a solid active ingredient, we will powder it, we will make it into a fine powder, mix it with the carrier powder, and we will add a few surfactant and other adjuvants so that it remain dispersed in water to form a suspension, and it can be sprayed on the crop. That is what often mixed with or coated on a fine solid carrier. Often mixed with, if it is a solid form active ingredient, we can mix with a fine solid carrier, വളരെ ഫൈൻ ആയിട്ടുള്ള പൊടിയായിട്ട് മിക്സ് ചെയ്യാം. Or if it is a liquid active ingredient, we can spray it on or coat over the fine solid carrier. Along with that, we add a surfactant and dispersing agent, wetting agent, etc. for dispersion in water to form a suspension. And one thing you should keep in mind is that dust powder DP formulation you see in it is particle size is about 50 micron. Here, wettable powder or water dispersible powder, it has to be sprayed through sprayer. Sprayer has an extremely fine nozzle, fine opening. So the particle size should be extremely small. So wettable powder is having a particle size of 5 to 10 micron. So it is having smaller particle size 5 to 10 micron. The typical example is diphentheuron 50% WP. Many fungicide molecules are formulated as wettable powder. Insecticides are not much formulated as a wettable powder, but fungicides are largely formulated as wettable powder. Among insecticides, one example is 50% dusting, diphentheuron 50% wettable powder. Diphentheuron 50% WP means if you take 100 gram of the pesticide formulation, 50 gram of it is containing the pesticide molecule, that is the diphentheuron. And what are the advantages? It is cheap to produce. Say, needs a carrier molecule, needs active ingredient, and a surfactant, and then other adjuvants. It is easy to produce. There is no solvents in certain liquid formulation. If we come and go into the tomorrow's class, we will see certain formulation where we use solvents. All those petroleum based solvents are extremely costly, because if the price of the crude oil increases, the price of the solvent also increases. And another thing is the solvents are harmful to crops also. So WP formulations, we don't employ any solvents, and it is unaffected by low temperature. Take the case of a liquid formulation, and if you are in Srinagar, Jammu, or Leh, Ladakh, or where the temperature goes below freezing temperature, all the liquid formulation will get frozen. But a water disposable powder or a wettable powder formulation, it is unaffected by low temperature, and it can be easily packed, no need of special packing materials. So these are the advantages. It is extremely cheap to produce. There is no need for any solvents, petroleum based solvents, and it is unaffected by low temperature and low packing costs. But there are certain disadvantages. It is difficult to measure. Usually diphentheuron, the example which I have cited in the previous slide, diphentheuron is recommended at the rate of 1 gram per liter. So you can imagine the difficulty of a farmer. I am recommending a farmer to use diphentheuron. Diphentheuron use ചെയ്യാൻ പറയാണ്. I gave a prescription containing recommending the farmer to go for 1 milligram per liter. He is a very small farmer. He has a homestead, and immediately once he reaches the home, he will call me back. So how to measure 1 gram? I need only 1 liter of spray solution. So most of the time it is extremely difficult to measure smaller volume with powder. But liquid, if it is 1 ml, 2 ml, it is easy. You know, 1 ml, 2 ml droppers and all are available. So that is easy. Liquids are easy to measure. But wettable powders, it is difficult to measure, and it is poor efficacy and rain fastness. That means compared to some other formulations, this effectiveness is bit low, wettable powder formulation. And if you spray it, and after about 1 or 2 hours, if a rain comes, everything will be washed away. So it doesn't have any rain fastness. That means it is not rain proof. And though it is having very fine particle size 5 to 10 microns, it has the chance of blocking the nozzle. A sprayer and the nozzle, sprayer and attatolla nozzle. We will discuss about nozzles and all later. It has the capacity to block the nozzles, and it can affect the spray. And another disadvantage is that it contains a solid carrier. With powder and usually it can be talc or something. This solid carrier can form a coating. Sometimes it is seen as residues on the sprayed surface. You might have seen grapes. നിങ്ങൾ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലേ മുന്തിരിയുടെ മുകളിൽ ഒരു വെളുത്ത പൊടി പോലത്തെ ഒരു കോട്ടിങ് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടാവുമെന്ന് വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. White powdery coating on grapes, which is extremely common. That is nothing but because of the use of a wettable powder formulation. So that is the residues may be visible, and though we may add dispersing agents to WP formulations, it still has the tendency to settle down after some time. Though it may settle down after 10 or 15 minutes, but it still has the ability to tendency to settle down. So frequent agitation is required. We have to frequently mix it so that the dispersed molecules doesn't settle down. So the disadvantages are it is difficult to measure, poor efficacy and reinforcements. It can block the nozzles because we are using a solid particle, and residues may be visible on the sprayed plant material, and we may need good agitation, good mixing frequently to keep the pesticide dispersed in water. Coming to the next solid formulation, that is granule. It is abbreviated as GR. This is one of the largest pesticide formulation available. This particle size is largest in granule. It is a solid formulation containing particles of greater than 80 micrometer dia. Here in dust it was 50 micrometer. Here the granules are solids with particle size greater than 80 micrometer, and it is not at all diluted with water, and usually it is applied to soil. So a granule formulation, it is a solid formulation with particle size greater than 80 micrometer. It is not meant for dilution with water, and usually it is applied to soil, directly applied to soil. So this is can be imagined as a dust formulation, but with a greater particle size. So granule contains active ingredient and carrier just like a dust formulation. And here we have an adjuvant, and that adjuvant is usually a binder, a gum, usually gum acacia or gum arabica is used. പശയാണ് ഇതിൽ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So the intention of using a binder as an adjuvant to granule is to keep the granule intact. അത് പൊടിഞ്ഞു പോകാതിരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്. What we usually use is a carrier material. The fine powder itself is used for preparing granule. We will mix it with a binder. ഒരു പശ അതിലേക്ക് gum acacia, gum arabica ഒക്കെയാണ് അതിലേക്ക് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുക. Then we mix it and make it a fine granule. തരി തരിയാക്കും. The purpose of adding this adjuvant binder is to keep the granule intact. ഈ binder add ചെയ്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്ത് സംഭവിക്കും? After some time, the granule starts disintegrating and remain as a powder. So in order to avoid that, we add an adjuvant. That is to improve the physicochemical property. A binder is added so that the granule will remain intact. So one typical example is chlorantraniliprole 0.4 GR granule. We will discuss about all this in granule formulation. So it's a solid formulation with particle size greater than 80 micrometer diameter. It is not meant for dilution in water and applied directly to soil. So I have seen certain farmers mixing this granule formulation with water and trying to spray it. But it is a wrong practice because we don't have an adjuvant which makes the pesticide spray to spread evenly on leaf surface. നമ്മൾ അഡ്ജുവന്റ് ആയിട്ട് ആഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഒരു ബൈൻഡർ ആണ്, ഒരു പശ മാത്രമാണ്. അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് ഒരു സർഫാക്ടന്റ് ആഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല, സർഫസ് ടെൻഷൻ കുറയ്ക്കാനായിട്ട് സർഫാക്ടന്റ് ആഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. So it is not at all meant for spray. The advantages of a granule over dust is that as the particle size is greater, it won't be carried away by wind. So there is no problem of drift. Another thing is that it is very easy to apply. Simply broadcast in the field. There is no need for any sprayers or any dust. In dusting also we have equipment, dusters. So there is no need for any specific equipment. It is easy to apply. And another thing is it is ready to use. That means take the pesticide granule packet, open it, apply it in the field. There is no need for mixing it with water or any sprayers or any other thing. And because it is granule, the inhalation, chances of inhalation is also low. If you are using a dust formulation, there is a chance of inhalation. Even dust, WP formulation, all are having some inhalation hazard. If you are handling it, the very fine particles are there, we may inhale it. But granules, these are having bigger particle size, the chances of inhalation is extremely low. So there is no problem of drift. It is pretty easy to apply. That means easily broadcasters, ready to use, and reduced inhalation hazard. But there are certain disadvantages that it is having limited foliage use because we can't mix it with water and spray it on leaf. So if you have a pest on leaf, we can't use granule formulation. That is, limited foliage is one disadvantage. Another thing is that it needs huge quantity. This chlorantraniliprole 0.4 gr, that granule formulation, the example which I have cited is used in rice against rice stemborer and leaf folder pests of rice. It is recommended at the rate of 4 kg per acre. That means we need 4 kg of the pesticide for 1 acre of area. But the same pesticide, we have another formulation. It is an SC formulation. That SC formulation is needed only 60 ml is needed. Only 60 ml is needed for 1 acre of area. Whereas the granule formulation needs 4 kg. So the transportation cost increases. Another thing is that it is hazardous on steep slope, because if we apply on soil, if there is rain, it gets leached away into the water bodies and also it is a bit hazardous on steep slope. So these are the disadvantages of granule. Okay, I will be stopping it over here. Any doubt? Are you able to following it? Yes. Okay. Okay then. Thank you.